Hi, and welcome to the Saturday Night Sleepover podcast. I'm your host, Charli, and I started this podcast because I'm good at two things. One, making friends, and two, telling stories. So you get to participate in that by listening. Welcome to the sleepover. It's Saturday night. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Night Sleepover. I'm your host, Charli, and today we are joined by Victoria. We're ready for a
The
life
best
update.
guest. The best guest.
Probably one of my most long-term guests that I've had. I think you're maybe one of my first guests of the show.
Probably. I think Kristen beat me a couple times before I got on. But I've been guest quite a few times. I would consider myself a regular.
Wow.
It's been a hot minute since I've been on, but I feel like I've been on enough times that I can consider myself to be a regular.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to tell you something piping hot news. I have piping hot news that we were talking earlier and I've been hiding it from you for 45 minutes.
Okay. I was like, oh my God, you're going to tell me you've been holding on to something for months. What is your 45-minute?
Okay.
I don't think it's even that long, but yes.
So, you know how the All American Rejects are doing a home tour, right?
Do not tell me you're getting to go to one.
Listen. Okay. So maybe like months ago, there was this dude in Arkansas, and he was like, I live in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I'm going to have a All American Rejects concert at my house. And it was fake news. This dude, like, literally got picked up by the news station, and it was fake news. And I was like, oh no, I got suckered. I thought it was a thing. But then I went to the actual All American Rejects website.
Did you sign up for the alerts?
And you can sign up for the alerts. So I signed up for the
Mhm.
alerts, and I got one today. And so you have to make a video using their sound, the easy come, easy go
Yeah.
sound.
Uh-huh.
And then they will pick 50 people from the people that make the videos to come to the concert. So I made my video today. Like
That is really
immediately. And I was
exciting.
like one of the first
So
like 20 people to do it, I feel like.
they've had a few, because I've been following it. I signed up for the alerts for my area. I signed up for 3 states, obviously, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. Because listen, I'm willing to drive to see the All American Rejects, but I'm not willing to like drive to see the All American Rejects. But I feel like they've had a few parties that definitely were more than 50 people that have had to be shut down by the cops.
Uh-oh.
Like there was one that they did that it was like, which we're all old, so it's not like their parties are getting insanely out of hand. There just happens to be 150 plus people converging on this house in the suburbs. And these cops showed up, but the cops knew who they were, so they let them play one more song before they shut them down. And there's like video of like the All American Rejects like thanking the cops and stuff for like letting them play one more song to close out and stuff.
Aw.
Um, but if you get to go, I'm gonna be so
So it's on
jealous.
Sunday, and so Sunday it's Friday night currently, and I will find out. They just like review the videos and decide who wants to do it. So I figured I would up my chances by collaborating with my podcast
Yeah,
Instagram too. So that was like, look, I'm a content creator. You want to pick me, right?
thank you. Also, we love the All American Rejects. We used to listen to them all the time.
Yes.
Still do. Not used to, still do. But when, they were coming out big in high school. Oh, that would be so awesome. If you get to go, I'd be so
I
jealous.
know. So, just so you know, be prepared. That's how you get in. At least how you're getting
Okay.
in with Arkansas. I'm gonna do a spoiler alert for everybody that might be waiting. But they
Okay.
seem to be going west because they are going to be in Arkansas on Sunday, and then they're moving on to Oklahoma.
I think they just did a festival out in California. Or they just recently did a music festival somewhere. I'm gonna pretend it's out in California because it looked sunny on their Instagram, but it's summer, so it could be sunny anywhere in the United States. Actually, that is an assumption that I shouldn't be making at all.
very high performance job at a very high leadership level.
I have 3 degrees,
like
and I
14
forgot
degrees.
it was summer across the entire United States. Oh my
That was
god.
too good.
Oh my god. Okay, you're welcome. I hope everyone else laughed as hard as we just did. And there's 5 minutes of laughter. Now back to the regularly scheduled programming.
That was good.
I'm like crying. I'm laughing
I
so
needed
hard.
that. I've had a lot of stress the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm very grateful. Whew. Anyway, so please pick me All American Rejects. I need this.
She does. I will also vouch. She definitely needs this. It has been a shit couple weeks for Charlie, and don't judge her because her sister Victoria is stupid and forgot what time of year it was. Anyways,
Oof.
oh my goodness. Anyways,
Anyway, so that was my
back
piping
to
hot news. I hope I get to go. But I immediately called our other sister who loves to go to concerts, and she was like, "I'm so jealous." She's like, "You did not get tickets." She was like, "Congratulations for being an elder millennial that understands how to do things on the internet that I could never do."
oh my god. Uh, I'm trying to figure out which older sister this is.
It's one that is going sailing with her Boy Scout next weekend. And then going to a board gaming conference after that.
Oh, I was like, there's only one that I can think of for sure. In that case, and then the board gaming thing, yeah. She could figure it out if she would stop just trying to
Yeah,
like
she would.
be a grumpy buttskins.
Well, she could figure it out, but she
Figure it out.
congratulated for me for knowing how to do technology. And I was like, I told her that, and she was like, "Oh, did you know that I'm going sailing in the Bahamas with my son on Monday?" And I was like, No, I did not."
But that
You're
tracks
so
that she
bougie.
would. Like, is she like real
Yeah,
sailing?
their Boy Scout troop. I've never heard of this. A Boy Scout troop is going sailing for like a week or something.
They must be on a really big sailboat. Because a little sailboat, that ain't gonna work.
I don't know. No, she said there's only like 10 people going.
Right, but like, so I went on a sailboat when I was in Greece in May, and like, you could fit like 10 or 12 people on the boat, but for a week, there's no way. You could only do like
Maybe it's not
three
a week.
people
Maybe it's
for
like,
a week.
I don't know. Maybe it's
Or maybe they have
less
like
than that.
I mean, I don't know if you could do multiple, maybe you could do multiple boats.
Well,
I don't
they're
know.
doing two different boats, but she said there's like 10 people on each boat.
And it's kind of, well, they have different sizes of sailboats, so maybe it's just like a bigger one. Um, but I mean, that doesn't like completely, first of all, that tracks for who she is and her background
Yeah.
for sure. She loves boats.
She can drive a large scale military boat. She can drive a sailboat.
Yes,
With her son. It's gonna be fine.
she'd be fine. I can't imagine her son enjoying being on a sailboat,
Mhm.
but I don't know her son super well because they live on the opposite side of the world from me. But you know what? That's exciting. Hopefully, no one drowns or gets eaten by a shark.
Oh, sorry, I
So.
just swallowed water down the wrong hole.
This episode is pure chaos at this point. Oh my god, if anyone is still listening at the 10-minute mark, congratulations, you're in for the long haul.
Man, this is the show. This is how I do it.
That's how we're going today.
I really did choke, like for real. Like almost, I
Did you almost
basically
die?
needed the Heimlich
Oh my
for the first time
god.
in my life. Yeah, I was eating burrito, and
That tracks for you.
I
That
I was at work, and Colton had brought me like a beefy 5 layer from
so
Taco
good.
Bell. So good. So bad for you, but so good. I need a
You know
drink.
what? In the scale of what could be worse, at least it's not meth.
True. Um, So he like brought me this beefy 5 layer while I was working a shift. It, like it was on a Saturday, and it was at like in an outdoor setting. And so he brought it to me, and I was like rushed to eat it because I was like at work and I wanted to hang out with Colton for like what little of a break I had. So I like just like shoved the last bit in my mouth and then didn't like fully chew as
Chew.
probably as much as I should have. Well, definitely not as much as I should have. And I was like, this will be fine. I'll just swallow it and it'll be all right.
God.
So I go to swallow it, and like the I understand what choking is like now, like because they're like, oh, it's when you can't breathe or whatever. But I'm like, I can't breathe like all the time. I swallow water down the wrong pipe like probably multiple times a day. I think I just have like a short esophagus or something. I don't know, but this for real, like you. The reason why I knew that I was like for real choking is because I could not get the food down or up. Like it was just like stalled in my throat, and then it like cut. Like normally you can breathe through your nose or your mouth and it's fine,
Yeah.
but like I got cut off air supply from both, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I like I couldn't cough, I couldn't do anything, and so I just like freaked out, and I like waved my hands, and I like I like pointed at my throat because that's what you're supposed to do. And Colton just came and like whopped me on the back, and it
Popped
felt
out.
it. No, it didn't pop out. It went down.
Oh, good. Well, as long as it goes one direction or the other.
But I will always remember that feeling of just like, oh no, it was like 30 seconds. But then, did you ever watch The Sex Lives of College Girls, the TV show on like HBO Max?
I got through the first 30 minutes and then I never went back to it. Not because I didn't think it was good, I just forgot it existed.
Oh, well, in that show, there's like a man, like a substitute teacher that dies, or maybe no,
Oh.
maybe it wasn't that one. No, it was Teenage Bounty Hunters. Did you ever watch that one?
I did watch that one, but I don't remember that part. I was so
It was
mad when they
one of those
canceled
two
it.
shows. It was one of those two shows, but there was like a substitute teacher that died, and he died from like eating a sandwich by himself because he had no friends. And I like realized that that's a real thing that could happen if you
Okay,
just swallow too much of a BB5 layer.
so I went down a rabbit hole on this once. And I mean, talking about once, I mean, like, I was still living in Richmond working at VCU. So that would have been like 2015 to 2017
Mm-hmm.
ish time period. No, not even. It would have been 2014 to 2017 time period. So this is like, oh my God, a
Ancient
decade
history.
ago. This is a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just realized how long ago. Didn't that? It feels like it was not that long ago. But, anyways, so I am convinced, and this is not a statistic you can find. I know I spent an hour and a half of my workday looking for this, that there is a untold amount of people who die alone from choking because they can't do the Heimlich maneuver on themselves. But here's the thing. If they were, when they're found and they're like, go to the coroner's office, right? It's gonna be labeled as asphyxiation
Mm-hmm.
or that kind of thing. It's not gonna be labeled as choked to death on some shit in their house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like it is probably a very large statistic of asphyxiation deaths that are because people choke to death because they can't do the Heimlich maneuver on themselves. I tell you, it is an unfound statistic because it does not exist, or at least in the 2014 to 2017 time period, it did not exist on the internet.
Well, I think it does now because Colton bought this thing like a long time ago. Whenever he was spending a long time at the house by himself, he bought this thing that like you can suction the food out of yourself.
Oh,
It's
really?
like a plunger for your mouth.
How would you even keep yourself calm enough to use something like that?
Well, because you got about like I don't know 30 seconds to like 4 minutes before you have brain damage and die. So
You
you
pass
you
out way
probably are
before
gonna
4
sink.
minutes.
It depends
Or
on what your breath capacity is.
true, but most people will pass out way before 4 minutes. Um
Well, I mean, you have.
Is it so? Is it more? Is it like a giant? Like I think picturing this is like a giant syringe without a needle on it that you just shove in your mouth and yank out the top.
No, it's like a oxygen mask with a plunger on it.
Okay, so you're putting it over your mouth. That would definitely give you an airtight seal versus a syringe shoving down your throat, because that would also potentially shove it further. So that makes sense.
Hmm. So
Huh.
yeah,
Um,
so we have one of those.
interesting.
You
Uh,
should look into it. I don't know what it's called, but it's like self
um,
choking. I don't know.
I bet I can Google it and find it now. And I will because I'm about to live alone again, and I don't want to die. And I won't have a dining room chair for a while because I have to buy that. So I can't like shove my chest into a dining room
I
chair to
guess you could
like
do it
hide
like
my
over
dinner
the bed,
myself.
maybe.
I won't have a bed frame for at least a couple weeks.
Are you gonna live on a air mattress?
No, I ordered a mattress, and that'll come in before I move, but I haven't ordered a bed frame yet because one, I haven't found one I like, and I feel like if I'm gonna spend that kind of money on something, I should like it, and also because I just spent so much money on deposits and everything to move into my apartment, I'm like, I can sleep on a mattress on the floor for a little while.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it's totally doable. I did it the whole time that I was living at our sister's house here,
Yeah,
and it
I
was
mean, it's
fine.
just gonna be for a couple weeks. Because like I'm trying to not dip anymore into what little savings I do have. And when I say little, I mean little at this point.
The
To like
$2.75.
it's more than that.
I know. I'm just kidding with you.
It's not
In
much.
this
Not
economy,
much. In this economy, who has savings
I
anymore?
know. I have $2.75. It's not a
Uh,
judgment call at all.
no, it's like I think after all the like because first I had to put a deposit on everything, electricity and gas and God, your apartment and like all it's just a fucking everything costs money. Um, but it's probably closer to like $150 by the end of this next week once I finally move. But so I just haven't found one I love yet. And so I'm just gonna be a mattress on the floor for a few weeks until I find one I like and one that I can afford and I have more money.
We found ours on Wayfair, and it was fairly inexpensive. I remember that.
So I'm looking, I've got a couple saved, and by saved I mean tabs open on my phone, on Chrome, on Wayfair and Amazon because right now I'm broke. And so the economic problems of the world that I need to like protest against by not buying from certain places are off the table because they're places I can afford right now.
Exactly. You do
So
what you can.
whatever. I did what I could for as long as I could, and I just I need a minute. So I've got a couple also like Amazon, it's in my cart at least. But yeah, I have a couple tabs open on Wayfair of bed frames I like. And so we'll see. We'll see. And I need the sheet sets because my old bed that I sold it to my old roommate before I moved in with my ex, was like a king. So all the bedding I have is king bedding, which doesn't like the blankets and pillows will work on a queen size bed. Um, but the sheets won't work on a queen size bed. So I
Yeah.
still have to buy like a sheet set. Um, and like just like things you don't realize that you should have held on to because your life was not going to go the way you
Oh,
thought
don't worry. I
it
have a hoard. I
was.
live in a hoarder house. So, well, not really. It's not really a hoarder house,
It's
but
not. It is not
it's
really
not.
order.
It's clean. I promise. But I
It's
do
very
have
clean. I'll vouch for that.
a
It's very
husband that
clean.
holds on to things that doesn't make sense to me. But we certainly have held on to things.
Your
We He realized we needed to hold on to it. I guess.
I will say this. Your husband, Colton, who I love dearly, reminds me of like the dad who keeps all the extra bolts that don't match
He
anything
did
because
actually.
one day he'll be like, I have the bolt for this.
Listen to this. The bulk collection situation. That's the thing. I do think that you probably should keep, if you're going to have a shop, you should keep several different kinds of bolts, because then what if you need it and then you have a place to put it or whatever. So when we moved,
Right.
we didn't know if we were going to get a shop or not. And so when Colton was cleaning out a shop, he threw away all of his bolts. And that was the one thing that I was like, you're going to be so upset later whenever you don't have those. And
No, at least keep, which I get it. You don't want to move a box of bolts across the country, basically. Not that it's across the country from Utah to Arkansas. They're fairly close together in the grand scheme of geography, but still, like, you have to then spend another lifetime collecting bolts.
yeah, so now we have to spend another lifetime collecting bolts. Although we did just drive from Utah to Arkansas, so it is pretty far. It's actually like a 24-hour drive.
Is it really? It's quicker for me to get to Arkansas than Utah?
Yeah.
Okay, so not only do I not know what seasons are, I also don't know my
We were
geography.
homeschooled, guys. Don't blame her.
It was only like 8 hours to get to you from here, from
Oh,
Georgia.
yeah. It's like way closer to Atlanta. We drove.
Oh, that's
So,
hysterical.
when we drove, okay, we drove out there. After work, we left and went to Wichita. And then we went to Colorado Springs and we stayed the night with my dad. And then we drove to Utah from Colorado Springs. And so from here to Wichita was like 5 hours. And then from Wichita to Colorado Springs, it was like 10 ish hours. And
Like
then,
Kansas?
yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure I was got the state
How many
right.
Wichitas are there?
I don't know. There's probably more than I realize. I bet you if you
Maybe
Google
I'm
it.
probably wrong.
But
Anyway,
not
so
right
then
now because if we get out of the app, we'll get disconnected.
yeah, don't get out of the app. Then from Colorado Springs to southern Utah, it was like 8 to 10 hours as well.
Oh
So
wow.
it was like
It
a
is a lot less
20,
than I
20,
thought.
somewhere between 20 and 30 hours on the road. So on the way there, it was like a manageable trip and we got there and we were able to like go out to dinner and it was fine. But then when we drove back, I was like so fed up with life and I was like, I can't. So we had like it always takes the first day, it takes forever to get on the road because oh you have to turn around, you forgot about this. Oh, blah blah. It
Yeah.
takes longer than you think. So it wasn't until like 3 o'clock that we got out of southern Utah and we were gonna take the southern route. So we drove down to Phoenix because that's where Colton's grandma lives.
Okay.
And it was like 2 hours out of the way, and so we would get a like a free place to stay
Yeah.
for a 2 hour extra drive, and that seemed like a good um like
Idea at the time.
exchange. Yeah, except for we left and we drove all the way down to Phoenix, and then we didn't get there until like 10 o'clock at night.
Ugh.
So the thing about Arizona also is that Arizona is does not subscribe to daylight savings time. So half the time they're on the same time as California, and half the time they're on
Mm.
the same time as Utah. But currently they are on the same time as California. And so that worked in our favor when we drove to Phoenix, and then it was like 11 o'clock for us, but it was 10 o'clock for them. And then you have to drive out and you're now driving 2 hours behind. So
Yes.
but
And it
since
ruins everything.
yes, so when we drove down there, we felt bad, so we're like, let's hang out with grandma more in the morning, which I actually was grateful to do because um it was like the first time we had relaxing time in the
Yeah.
whole 10 days. Like I people have been like, how was your vacation? I was like, it was not a vacation, it was a choose your own
First, yeah, it was
adventure like nightmare edition.
definitely not a vacation. Nothing about your trip was
I
anything close to a
Yes, it
vacation.
was a lot of hard work and a lot of sad feelings and a lot of choices that were
It
very
was
hard
a
to make.
very feelings heavy 10 days.
Yes. So, it was being at grandma's house was like the first time that it was like we didn't have like something terrible or something like heavy or something stressful to do. It was just like we just
Yeah.
got to hang out. So I didn't mind hanging out at grandma's house, but then we were there until like noon, which she lives in Phoenix and it's July. So driving in Phoenix in July in a 20-year-old vehicle is like not
Hot.
yeah,
Sounds
it's very
awful.
hot. The air conditioning does not work that great. So then we get out, like, first of all, our truck starts to overheat. And
Oh God.
and so like we're trying to just get out of there. We had to like go buy coolant. We finally get up to the top of a mountain where it's like actual a reasonable temperature. Excuse me. And then like I make the decision. It's like probably like 6 or 7 o'clock at this point. And I've made the decision. I'm like, dude, we're not getting a hotel. Like the plan was to get a hotel, go sleep, and then finish the rest of the drive the next day. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to sleep in my own bed. I want to have a bidet on my toilet. I want to like have all of the things that all of my stuff. Like I just want
Well, like
to
you just needed to be home.
not, I don't want to pay for a hotel. I just want to go home. And so we drove from Phoenix and we left there at like noon. And then we got to Arkansas at 10 o'clock the next morning. But
That's like over almost 24 hours of driving.
yeah, I know. Because especially because of the time change. But then so it probably is pretty much 24 hours of driving. So I Colton drove until we like got just barely over the New Mexico border. And then I took us from the New Mexico border all the way across Texas. Um well, like the western border of New Mexico. So I
Yeah.
drove all the way across New Mexico, all the way across Texas, and then part of the way through Oklahoma. And then I was like, the sun was coming up because Colton can't drive at night anyway because he can't see. So
Yes, it's very unsafe.
I I was like, it started getting dark, and then I was like, we got this. And so I just drove the whole time it was dark, and I got us like almost home. We were like 3 hours away from home by the time the sun was coming up. And then the sun was coming up. I was like, bro, I can't keep it together. It has to be light enough for you to see now.
You're like, I will kill us if I continue to drive.
Yeah. So we got to Amarillo. And by the way, 40 is my new favorite highway across America because in Amarillo, there is a Bucky's and it is a massive, really nice Bucky's. So we drove like from Phoenix and then we got to Amarillo at like 2:30 in the morning. And because we needed gas, and Bucky's is like the best place on earth. I don't know if you've been to one yet.
So we will get into my opinion about Becky's in just a second.
Okay, well, I don't think it's a gas
What's your
station. I
story?
think it's a religion. Um,
It's definitely cultish.
so we get there at like 2:30 in the morning, and it's like time to get gas. And Colton wakes up. And he's like, "Oh, where are we?" I was like, "We're at Bucky's in Amarillo. Time to get gas." And he's like, how are you doing? Are you still awake? And I was like, "Yeah, man. We're good. I got like so I went inside and I got gummy worms or whatever. And then like I just got like a regular like drink. I didn't get an energy drink or whatever. He's like, "Are you sure you don't want to get an energy drink? You have to be awake for the rest of the night." I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I got nicotine gum and fucking gum gummy worms. We're good to go. I'm gonna make it." So then I just buckled up and drove the rest of the way.
You like frat broed it
Yeah, I
the
was like,
rest
"We
of
got
the
this."
drive.
I
I
know.
listen. I shouldn't make assumptions that frat boys chew nicotine gum, but in my mind, that's what they would do. They
Hmm.
would chew nicotine gum, which will give you a buzz and keep you awake, and then candy. Like that. Just the
Yeah.
only difference is they probably also would have had a monster.
Yeah, I did have a lemonade rock star at the beginning of the night, but I didn't want to have too much.
That's close enough.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I'm glad you
I
did
didn't
it
want to
because you
stop to
probably would have
pee.
given yourself a heart attack.
Yeah, I know, right? But I listened to most of My Lady Jane. Have you read that book?
I have not.
Um, I I watched the one season that they had on Amazon, and then they canceled the show
Oh,
stupidly. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just read the book to find out what happened. So
is it good?
I listened to most of that book when I was driving. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Um, so I two branches of conversation. Book first. I tried to read the books the Bridgerton series is based on, and I could not because while they are the same, they are vastly different.
Hmm.
And I was not following the storyline quite the same way. And I was like, this is not doing what I wanted to do, which is to tell me what's going to happen in future seasons because I don't want to wait. So I gave up on reading those. So that is my takeaway on sometimes when they do shows out of books, they
Hmm.
ruin your ability to know what's going to happen. And I think it's disrespectful to people who read. Um, but back to Bucky's. Okay. So I never heard of Bucky's until I moved to Georgia. And I had never been in one until drove from Georgia to Nashville because that's the first one. They've built two more since then on my route to my sister's in Mississippi. So I will stop there. I always stop there for gas if I can make it work because it is the cheapest gas on the drive every single time. But I cannot stand Buc-ee's, and this is how I know I might have neurodivergency issues because it is like to me it is the equivalent of of a bougie Walmart, but it's a gas station. And there are people everywhere, and none of those people know how to function in society. Like, no one pays attention to where they're going. I'm having to dodge grown adults as if they were children, and who are like, oh my God, there's things everywhere. And like, no one needs a Bucky's baby onesie. Like, I can't. I go into the bathroom. I walk out. I don't buy stuff inside. I don't walk around inside. I can't. And Bucky's is a cult. It is not a religion. It is a cult. People either love Bucky's or we can't stand it and would rather just never set foot inside.
I don't understand why it can't be a religion and a cult.
Well, because I feel like, I mean, a cult is typically religious in nature of some kind. You're worshiping something. But I don't think people, like, it's not like your Saturday like your Christmas, Easter, your holiday Catholics, where that's a religion, right? I also think Catholicism can be a cult for some people. But, like, religion is like you worship on the holidays, right? In my opinion, that's probably not accurate. Some theologist is going to listen to this in the future when you become like famous podcast and they're going to be like, what the fuck is that bitch talking about? But like in my mind, when you compare religion to a cult, and this is because we grew up in a religion cult. And so to me, this is the difference. You are a reasonable person who believes in it, but like you also are a reasonable human. And then you have the cult side of it, which means you believe and worship it, and that is your entire identity. And I feel like that is why Bucky's is only a cult and not a religion, because there is no people who just like Bucky's.
Yes,
You
there is.
either no, you're either overwhelmed by it and you think it's terrible, or you like worship the ground it's walk-ons and you have t-shirts.
Yeah, that's a religion.
No, that is a cult. If you are wearing a t-shirt based on a gas station chipmunk, that is a cult.
No, it's a religion. It's a religion because I feel like it's a spiritual experience when you go in there. Like you're going in there. I think that Disneyland could be a religion too, because like it
Disneyland's
feels like
also
the
a
same.
cult.
It feels like the same thing. Like you're walking around and everyone around you is like having this like experience where they're so excited to see all the things and like everyone except for you is excited to be in the Bucky's and experience the Bucky's, and you like all are on this like dimensional plane of like holy cow, I can get like a Bucky's onesie for my baby, or also like any kind of thing you could ever expect to get like while you need it on the road, whether you need it or not.
That's a cult. That is not a religion. And I can tell you there are at least 3 or 4 of us in every single Bucky's at all times that are there against our will.
Well, I think that it is a spiritual experience.
Right? I think you can be a cult and still have a spiritual experience. That's why you believe in it, you psychopath. You are part of a cult.
I know I
You
am.
are a
I
cult
am a part of
member.
a cult. It's called the Bucky's cult.
You are part of the
I
Bucky's cult. Though, to be honest, I think starting a cult is my financial retirement plan in this economy because apparently you the first of all, you can get anyone to believe in a cult apparently, like some of the shit that people are doing and believing in. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, in what world does this make any sense to anybody? But then the people who run them or start them are making bank because people just give them money.
I know. Why do you think I want to start a cult?
I want to start a cult. I need to figure out how to start a cult. First of all, I need to be a nicer person to start a cult.
People who
Um,
run cults are not very nice, so I think it's fine.
but but they seem nice until they're not. But I don't want to like do like a Warren Jeffs version of a cult. I want to do like
Listen,
a cult where we believe in science.
well, here's the thing: is that like all cults seem like they're a great idea. I've watched a lot of the documentaries. It's always like, "Ah, that sounds cool. I want to be a part of that." Until they're like, the person was raping everyone. So as long as there's consent, and that's like the number one rule, then it's gonna be fine.
That's fair. Yeah, we're definitely not going to go down the lack of consent route at all.
Yeah, it's got to be consent the whole way, and then it'll be
Whole
fine.
way. They can't take me to jail. Yeah, no, we're not gonna Warren Jeffs the cult. We're gonna make it reasonable. It'll be fine. I don't know. I'll think of something. I'll just write a science fiction novel and build a establishment.
Um, Well, okay, so you said Warren Jeffs, and Warren Jeffs made me think of Southern Utah because it's like in that area. And then
Yeah.
Southern Utah made me think that I'm watching this show on Netflix that for the first time, like it's a music show, like
Hmm.
it's Netflix's like version of like The Voice or American Idol or whatever, but it's like The Voice and Love Is Blind had a baby. It's called Building the
Oh my
Band.
God, I've seen that on my Instagram, and it like on my Instagram, I go, "This is dumb," but also interesting.
Well,
Some people are gonna watch that.
I just before while we were eating dinner before we started recording, I watched the first episode.
And
And there's a kid from St. George, Utah on there. And I'm like, what in the world? It's
is he
weird that St.
Mormon?
George is big enough to have a person on a TV show
Is
there because I'm
is he
from
gonna
there. Or not from
is he gonna
I can't believe I said that. I'm not from there. I'm from Virginia. But I lived in southern
You
Utah for
lived
like
there for
10
a
years
very
of
long
my
time.
life.
Yeah. You've lived there for a very long time. Is he gonna be the like next David Arquette that's like Mormon and everyone loves him, and then as an adult he comes out as gay?
David Archuleta?
Archuleta, that's what I mean. David Arquette is Courtney
I don't know
Cox's
if
brother.
I don't know.
That was way off. David Arquette is Courtney Cox's brother.
Yeah, and
Um,
no, that's Courtney Cox's husband.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm
Are
struggling
you
over
on
here.
crack?
No, I'm like listen, my life has been hard in other ways. My brain is broken.
That's fair.
Oh.
I'll give you a pass. We both deserve passes for our
Deserve
crackheadedness.
passes. We deserve passes for like the next 60 days.
Yeah, amen to that.
Oh God. But anyways, yes, the next David Archuleta. That's what you said, right? Okay.
I don't know because I've only watched one episode of the show, so I don't really know anything about this man,
I
except
mean,
for the
but you
fact that
can
he's on
tell
that
if
show from St. George.
someone's Mormon pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Did he seem Mormon?
Um, yeah. Yeah, but like St. George
It's different.
is different. And
I mean, it's
also,
Utah.
what he seems like is he moved from California and he was Mormon in California and then moved to St. George. Because
What'd you move?
just because I understand the like cultural nuances of St. George so well that I could just like pick that out.
Okay, so he's probably a California Mormon.
Yeah.
They're second to worst of Utah Mormons.
Although I guess we're gonna find out because I don't know anything about him. They'll probably like go into a storyline about him and see. We'll see.
Probably. Well, you'll have to keep me updated on and or off the podcast. I don't care. I just want to know. I probably won't watch it. I'm currently on a Criminal Minds binge, so
Yeah. Did you watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
I did. I finally watched both seasons recently, and I need to still watch the
I
reunion.
just finished
But
the reunion when we got
I
back.
did. I need to watch it. Well, that's annoying. Is they shouldn't have done a reunion because they couldn't talk about half the stuff. I'm assuming they couldn't talk about quite a lot because they're doing a season 3 for the second half of the season 2.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like you probably didn't get many answers from the reunion.
Yeah, there was some stuff, but I mean, it was pretty good. The thing that I thought was interesting, the reason why I thought about it is because I saw this video on my feed and it was like a speech therapist or something like vocal dialect coach or something like that, and he was talking about the different dialects of uh, different areas of the country. So he was
Mhm.
like comparing Zach from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and then some dude from Love Island. And
Mm.
that when he was like analyzing Zach from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, it made so much sense to me because he was saying that they have enunciated consonants. I've like never
Mhm.
been able to put my finger on what is the Utah accent, but it gets under my skin. I'm not gonna lie. But So they have enunciated consonants, and then they also tend to um, have a like up cadence. So they're uh, it's like melodic and enunciated consonants. Anyway, I'm getting into it. I'll like find a way to share the video or something. But um, he said that the only other, or not the only, but the most common other group that uses enunciated consonants and like up uh
Melodic
mel- mel-
vocal.
melodic whatever up is the like homosexual man community. So that's why like
Oh, that's why they all seem gay.
yes,
That makes so much sense.
yes.
Which it does make sense because in which I think this is very specific to Utah Mormons is their version of like men is very you see this on all the Instagram clips or like the interviews of like boys at Utah University, like BYU, in Utah, is they're very like practiced to sound like gentle and humble and all these other things, but like it's like they're trained to speak that way. It's weird.
Well, it's also like I feel like there's a child, like everybody's expected to act like a child until you
Yes, like you're
have a
supposed to
child. So
be.
that also kind of like puts into
And I think you see that in other forms of like Christianity that like really emphasize no sex before marriage and things like that. For example, do you watch Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders?
uh I
DCC?
I got part of the way through.
Okay, do you remember Reese, the
Yeah,
sweet
yeah,
little
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's what I mean. Like she's also very Christian. You see it on like The Bachelorette with what's her bucket, Madison or whatever, who was waiting for marriage and she's a basketball player from Southern Alabama. Like she also had that sing-songy melodic voice. I think you find that in younger generations in strong like Christianity around chastity in both men and women.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what it is about that. Maybe well, it probably is the childlike, like you're supposed to maintain your innocence and your like child of God nature, and so that's how they talk. It's weird. It's super weird. But having watched both seasons of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I hope that Taylor's parents step on Legos every day for the rest of their lives because they're awful and how they speak to Taylor and judge her and shame her is awful. And I love Connor Witt's husband.
Hmm.
And I know everyone makes fun that his Tinder was actually Grinder. I don't think he's gay. I don't think he's actually gay. I think, like you said, it's very much a effect of being raised in a Mormon household. But like I think he just their marriage, I think, is again based on whatever you see on reality TV, right? Um, they're truly love each other and they're also friends, and I think that's such a cool thing to see. I love them,
Yeah.
and I hope Taylor's parents have the worst things ever happen to them.
Do you want to hear my hot take about season 2?
Yeah.
I don't think Demi's that bad.
I don't either. I think she got a lost sight of the point. I get where she's coming from because she's a breadwinner and Taylor is a bit of a hot mess in that way. And I get the chaos and wanting the security, and I don't think she's wrong. I also don't think she's wrong for losing her shit on Taylor's mom, because Taylor's mom cornered her in her own house in a totally inappropriate way, and good for her. But I don't think she's that bad. I think it's super over dramatized.
Yeah.
I do think she was shitty to Jesse though about the hair stuff.
Yeah.
But she's just a mean girl.
Yeah. Well,
No, I
I
agree.
think that she was like justified in like saying a lot of the things that she said, but also once you watch the reunion you'll see that's like a just like a storyline that they're running with, I think. And so I think they're separating up Jesse and Demi because like I think she might have like said those things about their hair and they like had a conversation and like made up because of it because it was a misunderstanding. But I think that they're replaying back into that dynamic so that they can create a more dramatic storyline for season 3.
Oh, I'm sure that's a huge part of season 3. Is why you aren't seeing Debbie in a lot of the promo conversations and events and stuff. And I follow all of them for the record on Instagram because I can't help myself. And makes it seem like, which again, the perception Jesse's giving out is that she and wow, Demi are not friends right now, or not close friends. And I think that that makes sense that Wit and Demi have like aligned as like the villains because they're both the villains in the group right now.
Yeah.
But I will say, I also watched the Vanderpump Villa episode with them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it.
I think it is the most exaggerated bullshit. Yes, as a married person, she probably shouldn't have flirted with him knowing it was going to be on camera, but she was very clear about her boundaries. And she had one conversation with him which was on camera, and they're sitting like on these like pool chairs, and he's like telling her how interested she is and he is in her and all this other stuff, and she's like, "Listen, like, I'll be honest, my husband and I have challenges. We've struggled over the years, but we're in a really good place and we are happy where we are. And like, I like maybe a time in my life I would have done something stupid, but like that's just not where I'm at. But I appreciate like the compliment, and like they hug, but they don't do anything that like would make someone go, "Oh my God, I can't believe she did that."
Yeah.
And I think that Jen is just projecting because her own personal life is a shit show. And she got pregnant. She tricked her husband to get pregnant. I don't know if you know that. Do you
Yeah.
know that?
I
What?
well, um, kind of. I guess I don't. With stuff like that, you don't really know until, or like unless you're in that relationship.
What? No, Jen admitted it.
Did she?
Jen and Zach both, they did like an interview with like the Veil Files, and he was like, "We were having sex, yes, but she told me she was on birth control and she got off of it and never told me."
Hmm.
And she was like, "Yeah, I did that."
Oh boy.
It came straight out of their mouth. And I was like, that is the most Mormon thing to do to try to save your marriage with a baby.
Yeah. That is so super common, and
So
it
super
bothers me. It
common.
bothers me all the time. Like people are
Yeah.
like, "I this baby's gonna save us," and I'm like, brother, like a baby's gonna make your life so much harder.
So much harder. And you're clearly, neither of you are okay. Like, he's giving up his whole goal of being a doctor, which I don't think he ever really wanted to be a doctor. Like, if you watch Zach's personality, that man has no business being a physician.
Yeah.
But, like, you all are both young and struggling with your identity and the decisions you've made because of the culture you were raised in. Like, take a breath. Maybe don't have another baby.
Yeah. I have so many. Uh
Like,
okay, so like in Utah, like I am the only one of my friends that's 34 and doesn't have a baby. So, like, and most of them have several babies. So I kind of was that friend that was like, "Hey, you don't have to have a baby, right?" And
you
they
can.
genuinely don't. Like, they genuinely think that they need to.
And that, like, and it's a cultural thing. It's how I mean, we were raised that way. I wanted babies until I became a much older adult, and I was like, oh God, no, I don't want babies.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I'm giving up to have babies. I will not have babies. No babies for me. Can't return that shit. Um,
The
but it's crazy.
as a person who like can't have babies, like the thing that I'm fine with, like all of like being open about it, and
Yeah.
talking about like infertility struggles and stuff, like I'm fine with that. The thing that bothers me the most is when people will be like, well, you wouldn't understand unless you were a mother, and I'm um like I've done a lot of things in my life, like maybe we could relate on something else.
On anything else. Also, I think it's really easy I think people say that to rationalize like the decisions they've made, even though like as I feel like anytime someone has told me that, is like, because I'm like, I'm not sure that's the best way to go about that. And they're like, well, you don't know, you're not a mom. And I'm like, I'm convinced, and I'm probably wrong because I'm not a mom. If you're telling me that I can't have insight as someone from the outside who's not caught up in all of this situation, right? The emotions, the feelings, all of this, and you're telling me I can't understand, that tells me that you know what you're doing is probably something you don't actually maybe shouldn't be doing, right? Like, and maybe that's not the best way to approach it. And so your rationale, rather than realizing that and having that come to self moment, is to just be like, well, you don't know.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because
Uh, but like, I feel like people said that a lot too. Like, you wouldn't understand unless you were married. Like, I think that happens. Maybe that just
yes,
happens in like Mormon culture, but I think it happens in other cultures too. They're like, you wouldn't understand
yes,
unless you were married. But then I got married and I was exactly the same as I was before I was married. And I've like
yeah,
seen so many people have kids, and I'm like, you're the same person after you had kids that you did before. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think, like, I've caught myself saying that having been married and divorced, where I'm like, "Well, when you get married," and I will say that there are things about being in, and again, I think it's also varied per person, like being in a marriage relationship that's different from just long-term dating, because it, at least for me, there was like the legality of it. Like, now all of a sudden the weight felt so much bigger. In reality, it doesn't actually change anything, but socially and culturally and mentally it felt significant. And so I feel like there's a little bit of that, like, significance that we've ingrained in people around, whether it's marriage or motherhood or whatever it is, that we carry these weights of things that are so arbitrary. And it just doesn't, like, you're right, because we're the exact same people. Like, you're doing the same things you would have done regardless.
Yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
Like, I can look at you and go, maybe you shouldn't yell at a child like that, even if they're your own or not your own. Like, that looks like a really bad idea.
Yeah. Or when people are like, you don't know what love is until you have a baby. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I love my husband like more than you love yours. But
I'm also pretty sure that the love you have for your child should not be the same type of love that you have for
well,
your spouse. And
obviously.
but I don't think there's enough people that recognize the difference. And I'm not saying they want to, like, do anything inappropriate with their kid, but like, some people, I'm like, you do know that, like, they're not your partner.
Oh yeah, like people
You
who
know
are
what I
like, my
mean?
kid's my best friend or whatever. Is that what
My
you
kids,
mean?
I saying, are like, my kid's my whole world, or I could never survive without my children, or like, I love my kid more than I love my spouse. And I'm like, that's not what it should be. Like, no.
Yeah,
Like, what are
I
you
don't know. I
doing?
don't have. Uh, I mean, yes, I think they're just different. Like, I feel like your
They're very
partner
different.
is like you should be like on the same team, and I feel like most people don't get the team aspect of marriage, and that's why a lot of marriages aren't great.
No. I also think a lot of people have kids and because they're unhappily married and then they stay married. And so that is when people all of a sudden, like, that you get like these mama's boys or these boy moms who all of a sudden everything is about their little boy. And I think they're just transferring that level of attention to their kid because they can't actually stand their spouse.
Hmm. That's an interesting observation. I never thought about that way before.
Because, like, the otherwise I can't, like, you see some of these ways these parents are with their kid, and it is typically, like, boy moms, or even sometimes girl dads, and I'm not saying they're doing anything inappropriate, like, that's not what I mean, but, like, the level of just time and attention, and then you see it when they're, like, their kids try to get married, and they're, like, really toxic because, like, "Oh, I was the first person my son kissed," like, those kinds of
Oh.
situations, and I'm like, that's so inappropriate, and I'm convinced it's because they don't actually like their partner, so they put all of their love and energy into their child
Hmm.
in a very unhealthy, codependent way.
Hmm. I don't know about everyone, but I can see that being the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm not saying everyone, but, like, I think I feel like that's a common, like, thing that's happening there, and I see it all from observation because, I don't have kids, but all of my friends have kids. Not all my
Yeah.
friends, but
Take everything I say with a grain of salt because I don't have kids, I guess.
yeah, I don't have kids, but from the outside, It's looking something.
That's what I see.
It's a observation. Oy. Yeah, so no, I'm team no kids. I think it's great that you talk about your fertility struggles and you are so open and honest with it because I don't think a lot of people are. And I think it creates a great space for people to realize like maybe you shouldn't ask the thing you want to ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like my
Or like
favorite thing to because my favorite response to like, are you gonna have kids or do you have any kids or why don't you have kids? Like questions like that. I'll be like, well,
yeah.
actually, I can't have kids, and then people will be like if you're gonna make ask me an uncomfortable question, I'm gonna give you an uncomfortable answer.
Yeah. And like I think it's great that you don't try to protect other people's feelings about it because one, not their fucking business. And two, again, not their business. So if you're gonna be an asshole, then you deserve to be made to feel like an asshole.
Mhm.
Like you do not need to be protecting other people's feelings because they're jerks.
Yeah. Well, and it makes people uncomfortable. And then their first question is always, almost always, 97.99% of the time, well, have you thought about adoption? And I'm like, yes, I have, of course, I've thought about adoption, but also that costs a lot of money. And I am like not an affluent person.
But adoption is so expensive. So expensive. And it's its own thing. And, I have friends who are adopted who have have good things and bad experiences in it, and they were adopted into wonderful loving families because you're still not saying that kids shouldn't be adopted, but it's complicated. Adoption is complicated.
Hmm.
It's expensive and it's complicated.
Yep.
It's not, I feel like too many people see it as just like, oh well, then just do this instead.
Yep.
And it's like it's not that simple. The world is hard.
Yeah. Anyway.
like, on that really fun note.
That seems like a pretty good place to put a pause button on, I guess. As good of any.
As good as anyway.
Do you
I
have
mean,
anything that you
we've
wanted to
stopped it
talk
at worse
about?
spots.
Huh?
No. So we stopped it at worse spots, I'm sure.
Yeah, I definitely have. And sometimes the technology fails and the episodes just end in like pause in the middle of a sentence.
What happens? I don't think so. Just life be life in. I think we're both doing really well, all things considered.
Yes.
Um, and I know that sounds really vague to everybody, I'm sure. And I
No
don't mean
questions, just prayers.
no questions, just prayers. No, but everyone's alive and well, so well, mostly.
Well, I mean, I just had to deal with a death, so not everyone's alive.
I realized that as soon as it came out of my mouth. Why did you ask me to do this episode? I have put my foot in my mouth so many times.
It's so good. I love it so much, TBH.
Oh my god. Well, I'm alive and well, and so is Charlie. Not everyone, though. In the end, I'm done. I'm saying nothing else.
Thanks for listening. We love you. Okay, bye.
Bye.